Good evening. It is October the 2nd, 2024. You're watching the Deerwood Realty live stream with your host, John Shink, who I am. I am he. Got a lot to talk about tonight. We're going to talk about no politics. We're not going to talk about that. We're going to talk about some real estate stuff, right? Things that happen in the real estate world. I'm always the best at my intros. I think that's something that I really should get figured out. Like, the problem is I need to get 3 different streams correct, and then I need to get the audio canceled. And so now that I've done that and I've checked everything, how are you tonight? Here's the general rules of chat for me during a broadcast. I am going to check every 15 minutes or so, all the way around. So if you write something that's like from 15 minutes ago, I'm not going to figure it out. I'm not proud of it. It's just the way it is. Not sure why this one thing isn't working. Should be working. There we go. All right, good. All right, so let's just go through like the situation that I find myself in right now. Very, very slow on the real estate game for me. I mean, the slowest it's ever been. And it's one of those things where, is it my fault? Is it me? Is it the market? What is going on? And I think about it a lot, and I'll just run through a couple of things. So the first thing, normally people call me. Want to buy a house, they call me. Want to sell a house, they call me. Normally it works something like this. A friend of a friend will say like, hey, my friend is looking for something. Can I give him your number? I say, sure, go for it. Love to talk to him. Or do you want me to call him? I'll call him. And then we talk and we have a nice meeting, and then we go look at houses and buy something. Now I'm getting this thing where people say, well, my friend's looking for a house and they're checking with 17 different real estate agents. Do you want to put your hat in the ring? And to be quite honest with you, no, I don't. It's not like I don't want to sound conceited, but it's just like I don't have any interest in racing to the bottom. Like, if there's 17 agents, what is one idiot going to do that's going to make it so it's not even close to enjoyable? I mean, what are you going to do? You're going to lower your commission? You're going to, not, what are you going to do? You're going to just be a jerk the whole time? If that's what you want out of a real estate agent, at least on the buyer's agent side, then go for it. On the listing side, what are they going to do? They're going to buy the listing. We're going to tell somebody that their house is worth $60,000 more than it really is. And then we got the listing. Yay, we won. And then for the next 6 months, we're going to proceed to beat down our sellers, over and over again for price improvements, which are actually just admissions that you failed on the pricing of the home, which was your primary job. Well, at least your primary job was to market the home at a decent rate to get it sold, but you screwed that up because, again, you didn't care about those people. You didn't care about them at all. You just wanted your commission, and so you bought the listing, and screw those people, right? So I don't want to be part of that. So I'm sitting here, and I do have some level of business, but it's just not the way it needs to be. Now, if you work for a large organization, what ends up happening is they have these coaches, and they say things like, oh, you need to set a plan, you need to set a goal. And then when you set that goal, then if you don't hit the numbers, then you need to kind of, self-flagellate. You need to beat yourself up over the fact that you didn't get the numbers this month and figure out how you're going to do better. But they don't take into account the market. So we're at a space where I think the transactions are lower than they've been since 1995. It's terrible. It's terrible. And so what does that mean to you? Like, what did you do wrong? Now I know some agents that are killing it. There's a friend of mine, I'll call him a friend of mine on X, that's killing it out in California. I mean, just doing a fantastic job. And someday we'll talk and be like, hey, what are you doing? What am I missing here? But that's not my problem right now. My problem right now is just simply I don't have enough transactions. It's very frustrating. I don't know when it's going to change. I told you a while back about just the fear I had about being too busy. And that's the way it was maybe 2 summers ago. I was just showing houses left and right to buyers, writing offers not accepted, go buy another house, go to another house over and over again. It was exhausting, and we didn't really get anywhere. So that's where I'm at on the real estate side. Not too busy. Kind of disappointed. Other than that, tonight, I just wanted to go over stuff. I just wanted you to know, like, here's what I'm thinking. Here's what I'm doing. Here's why I think the way I think. You think differently. Tell me about it. Yeah, that's where I'm at. So let's get into the articles tonight, shall we? Now, I got to do this right. It takes me a second, and I'm sorry. Where are we going? Okay, let's go here. This is the first article for tonight now. Let me get it to where I'm happy with it. I like this. I don't like that. I'll put myself down here if that's okay. This is the first article. Headline, airline passenger reportedly falls ill after eating cockroach-filled omelet. Now, this to me, there's questions off the top from the headline. Airline passenger reportedly falls ill after eating cockroach-filled omelet. Now, it can go different ways here. So, like if you ate a cockroach in your meal, would that make you ill? Yes. I'm answering it. It would make me ill. Every time. The last time I was at a restaurant in college and they delivered a salad to me and there was a fly in the salad and the fly was dead. And I was like, hey man, there's a fly in my salad. And the waiter came over and was like, yeah, it's definitely a fly. I'm like, I don't really want to eat this. He's like, I don't blame you. I wouldn't eat it either. Did you know there's like a certain percentage of like insect that can go in your food and still be okay, like in manufactured food? So that Oreo cookie you're eating, I mean, it could have some insect in it and it's fine as long as it's spread out over like parts per million. They've talked about, recently we're going to be able to eat the bugs and we're going to like to eat the bugs because they're the easiest to grow. I don't want to eat the bugs. But let's get into it. It says a traveler recently called out Air India after she reportedly found a cockroach in her in-flight meal earlier this month. It says Suyisha Savant, who flew from Delhi to New York on September 17th, wrote about her unpleasant experience on X. Found a cockroach in the omelet served to me on the Air India flight from Delhi to New York. The mother wrote in a post Friday, my 2-year-old finished more than half of it with me when we found this. And so, like, my question is was there, you found a cockroach, but were there many cockroaches and this is just the one you found? I didn't know 2-year-olds had a penchant for omelets either. That was something I've learned today. Suffered from food poisoning as a result, she added with the post. She shared pictures that appear to show a dead cockroach laying in an omelet. So, like what I would say, just as like in general, food quality on airlines has come down a bit since if you see from the 70s, all the waitresses are all dressed nicely. All the people are all dressed nicely on the plane. Probably get a good meal. Well, better meal than this one. So suffered food poisoning as a result. I'm wondering, could you just say like I had an upset stomach or it made me sick, from what I ate? Hard to know. Said and then says the mother who works as a journalist in India also shared the video that she recorded on the flight where she discussed the filth she encountered on the plane. Even the pouches of this seat were not clean and it had waste bottles lying in it. And when I alerted the staff about it, they said it was a mistake. But how many mistakes? Savant added. So I don't know. Like it was a mistake. Well, I'm sorry we left that there. That was an accident. I'm sorry we left a cockroach in your meal. That was an accident. Like, does that solve everything? Like, I come from a middle-class family. Oh. I have had the pleasure of flying international in the past 2 years, and the experience has not been in any way joyful. For 9 hours, I was cramped in a middle seat. They put me in a middle seat. I couldn't move for like 9 hours. Will this change? No. No, they made airlines a commodity, and this is what it's going to be. An Air India spokesperson confirmed to Fox Business that they were aware of the incident. The employee added that the airline works with reputed caterers who supply to leading airlines globally and have stringent SOPs, standard operating procedures, and multiple checks to ensure quality of meals served to our guests. I feel like they don't, as evidenced by the fact that there was cockroaches in the breakfast. It says, we are concerned about the experience of the customer in the said instance and have taken it up with our catering service provider to investigate it further. I'd love to hear that conversation. Hey, man, we bought a bunch of breakfast from you and there was cockroaches in it. What are you going to do about it? I mean, what are the people going to do about it? There weren't. Nuh-uh. I'd also like to see the standard operating procedures. Like step one, make sure there's no insects in the food that we serve. That should be up there. Should be up top 10 at least. We will take necessary actions to prevent any recurrence of such instances in the future. Well, that's not good enough. Somebody needs to be held accountable. I mean, you can see it in the picture. It's there. It's right there. Right there. That's not spinach. By the way, how nasty is it? Looks like have you seen airline food? It's a trip. I'm going to check real quick here. Over here. Yeah, I mean, it's not good as it is. They have great combinations. It looks like here we had a little bit of pork and beans with our omelet and some hash potato things. Sometimes you get so hungry on the flight, it's like I'll eat it, but I don't want anything to do with it. It's interesting. It says the social media post came as Air India faces scrutiny over the unclean conditions of its plane. So what I'm right now, I'm telling you, if I have a choice to fly to Europe, Air India just got thrown off. And it's not so much because of the cockroach in the food. I mean, that could happen to anybody, right? No, it's because like they're starting a bit pattern here. So last week, a passenger named such and such, I'm not going to say their name, flying first class from Chicago to Delhi, called it the worst first class cabin I've ever been on. Now, the good thing about me is I don't have any money to fly first class anywhere. So I wouldn't know. I mean, basically they just shuffle me right past the first class section when I go. I'm in the next to cargo. Calling the worst first class cabin I've ever been on. I mean, okay. Said the video, which garnered millions of views on TikTok, shows a first class cabin filled with hair, ripped furnishings, and dirt covered crevices. The passenger also said that his headphones came tangled and covered in mildew. The entertainment system did not work the entire 15 hours. Everything was broken. They literally put tape on the wall to tape that stuff down. It was a nightmare. I was robbed on this flight. I think so. I think so. Filed under airlines, airplane meltdowns, insects. So I'm curious. Have you ever eaten a cockroach-filled omelet on a plane? How did that go? What was your experience? Put it in the comments section. Put it in the chat. I got the chat up and running. I think, no matter where I'm at, I got to change one little setting right here. Look, you can really, if you're on at least 3 platforms, you can post a comment. Now, know that they're time delayed, and if I get off on a rant, I'll forget and whatnot. Anyway, pretty gross. I was going to do a different article. Unfortunately, it was something that may have kind of teetered on YouTube's policies against bodily fluids. I've never understood the censorship on YouTube, and I don't mean this in a bad way. If I see it in a mainstream publication, okay, I should be allowed to talk about it on stream. I mean, how is it possible that you can publish something in a newspaper, but I can't say it on a stream? And then you go, well, it's not advertiser friendly, John. And it's like, well, there's no advertisers advertising on my stream. There's no advertisers. I'm not even monetized. I may get like 6 people watching my stream tonight. Last week I had a video that had 2 views. I don't think that I'm the problem here. So let's move on. Now look, I'm already realizing I made an error, and I am a little bit OCD, and I'm not proud of it. I always like to have every single page, every single article, and everything I do like perfectly up at the top, so that when I start the discussion, it starts from the top and it goes down. Unfortunately, I didn't do that tonight. I don't know if it's out of laziness, non-attention to detail, but it's going to bug me all night long. And I'm just telling you that now so that we can all kind of deal with it. And let me say I'm sorry. It's not part of the SOPs, standard operating procedures, like Air India. Let's move on. This is from Realtor.com. It's at the bottom, but we're moving to the top. Mortgage rates fall again to tie the lowest level since September of 2022. Why is this important? Why do you care, John? Well, I'm a real estate agent, and I was told something by experts, quote unquote, that I don't think was true. Experts. They said this. They said, look, when the mortgage rates go down, buyers are going to come back into the marketplace, and it's going to be, look out. Look out. We're going to have so many, and then somehow, when all those buyers came back, home prices were going to not shoot through the roof. Well, what's happened? Mortgage rates have gone down. Buyers are sitting on the sidelines waiting for them to go down further. There's this one house in St. Louis. I showed it 2 weeks ago. They wanted $395,000 for it. It's now down to $365,000. Those agents bought the listing, no question. If you miss right now in St. Louis on price, you're going to get punished. It's not like it was 2 years ago. The buyers are not going to put up with your garbage. I'm just saying. But all these idiots are out there, date the rate. No. All these idiots out there, we need these mortgage rates to go down because that'll make things more affordable. House prices are up 50% in 4 years here in St. Louis. Okay. It doesn't matter. If you're going to drop it 25 basis points, you're not getting anywhere. Okay. You've made the houses too expensive. Wages have not kept up with inflation. Say, oh, well, inflation's going down. No, it's not. Inflation is not going down. It's calculated every month. Significant inflation in the marketplace still. Is that a good thing? No. But anyway, let's look at the article. It says the Freddie Mac rate for a 30-year mortgage fell 11 basis points to 6.09% this week, reaching a tie for the lowest level since September of 2022. However, it's important to note this is not due to Wednesday's 50 basis point rate cut, but rather due to the market expectations of the number and magnitude of future rate cuts. That's right. They've already priced in future rate cuts. Not good. It says, as of Thursday, the market is expecting the Fed to cut by a total of 75 basis points more by its December meeting. So, Merry Christmas, rates are down. But why do rates come down? Do rates come down in a hot market? What it means for the housing market? Well, I'd like to know. It says Fed Chair Jerome Powell made it very clear that the FOMC believes the battle against inflation has ended and that their primary concern on the road ahead will be maintaining the healthy labor market after a sequence of less than stellar job reports in July and August. Markets are expecting the Fed to deliver another jumbo cut by the end of the year to help ease concerns about a softening labor market. Well, wait a minute. What if all the ports on the East Coast are shut down due to a strike? Will that cause problems that were unexpected? What if Israel is launching missiles at different countries within the Middle East and those countries are responding by launching their own missiles? Is that something? And by the way, the United States is shooting down some of the missiles on Israel's behalf. Doesn't seem like, I mean, that seems like that could cause some problems economically. Won't hurt the war machine, right? But man, military industrial complex is happy. They're just bombs going off everywhere. 2 wars right now. So, but if you're not in the military industrial complex, is this a good thing? Dicey. How far can mortgage rates fall and what does it mean for the housing market? Do tell. Since markets have already priced in Wednesday's 50 basis points rate cut, and the Fed is still being mum about its future plans, well, they're not really being mum. They said they're going to lower them 75 basis points by the end of the year. Well, they didn't say that, but the markets did. The markets here are telegraphed. We don't think there's a major drop in the future, and the rates could bottom out in the 6 to 6.2% range through the rest of the year and into the high 5s by next spring. Let me just see. I don't know if I can do this fast enough. Go to my website here. Are we even gonna, is it gonna work? What's going on here? Let's see if that works. All right. Not now. Let's go here. The only reason why I'm going here, I think at least I'm going here. Look at this. My website must be not happy. Not cool, dude. I'm waiting. I got to work on my website. Put that on the list of things to do. I'm going to check the chat while I'm waiting. No one on X, no one on Rumble. Here we go. Page loaded. Yeah, current 6.25%. 30-year fixed. All right, let's get back there. We should initially expect signals of increased activity to emerge from the refi market, then followed by higher mortgage application activity at the beginning of next year as both buyers and sellers ramp up their activity in the spring buying season. So what you're telling me is I'm not going to be able to afford Christmas presents for my children or my family. Not good. Not good. And then let me understand this. People are refinancing at 6% and we're gonna praise that as a good thing? Why would you refinance at 6%? Because your mortgage is like 7.25%? Or maybe it's because you're like hurting financially and need to get the equity as quickly as you can to pay off other bills. Well, that would be bad. Since buying power increases as mortgage rates fall, we should expect home price growth to reaccelerate sometime in the spring, especially if historically laggy inventory is slow to respond. Does that make you feel confident in the situation we've found ourselves in? Are you, by the way, tonight, watch, I've got a San Pellegrino and I have my Deerwood Realty Yeti. I want to drink from both, and it's 2 different beverages. It's science. Do we want a reacceleration in home prices? I mean, really? One of the things I've always wondered is, who does it benefit when house prices go down? Do municipalities benefit when home prices go down? Does the average homeowner benefit when home prices go down? It seems like we've created a kind of perverse incentive for housing. If it always goes up, I mean, that doesn't seem like a free and fair market, does it? It's almost like if you use rates to manipulate the housing market, maybe that's not a free and fair market. I mean, I'm not an economist. I've read a few books, but anyway, so I wanted to talk about this for the specific reason that I heard these people telling me that we date the rate, that all these buyers are going to come back, and I don't see it happening. And I never believed it in the first place. Some people say that this is a massive demographic shift. That's why we're having all these people buy houses. It was a mania. It was a mania. The things that the federal government has done to you and I in the past 4 to 5 years has been mind-blowing as far as just making things miserable. I mean, it's totally impressive with the things they've done. We can disagree on what you think they may have done versus what I think they may have done. But there was a mania. There's no reason if you have a 3% mortgage to move right now, especially if you have a nice house. You're not moving. There's no reason to. That's not going to change. That's not going to change because even if you drop the rates down to 3% again, why are you moving? Where are you going? House prices are still up 50%. Are house prices going to drop 50% to make it somewhat interesting or compelling to make that big move? And then you just get into a situation of wages. I mean, is your wage continuing at the rate of inflation, or is it lower than the rate of it? So now you're losing purchasing power. House prices are going up. Rates are up. I mean, they really screwed this up. Now, will there be punishment for those involved? No, because no one really knows who to point the finger at. I mean, is it the politicians? I mean, is it their fault? Is it the central bank's fault? You know, is it the lonely homeowner, the home seller, the home buyer? Is it those greedy real estate agents? Those guys for sure. They're always at fault. Very strange situation. So if you said, John, what are you doing this weekend if you have a buyer? Well, I'm going to go out. We're going to go see a house. And then I'm going to look at the comps. And I'm going to say, Then I'm going to call the agent and say 2 things. 1, are you offering seller commissions or concessions? Because who knows? And if not, that's fine. That's fine. It'd be nice if you gave me the number so that I would know what to put in the offer. But, you know, if you're not going to do that, that's fine. So the next thing is how many offers do you have in hand? If you don't have any offers in hand, I'm not coming in at full price. If you have 4 offers in hand, I'm coming in way over full price. That's just the way it is. There's my negotiating strategy. Done for you. What should you be doing right now? This is one of the things I wanted to go over. Don't feel bad if you have to go buy a house right now. Don't feel bad if you have to sell a house right now, right? And you say, well, you never have to do anything. No. You have to deal with the market that you're in, right? If you need to buy a house, if life events have created a situation where you need to buy a house, go buy a house. Don't feel bad about it. You say, well, John, prices are going to go down next year. Well, they might go up. Who thought that there was going to be this kind of a run ever? I mean, who thought it? You know, and as long as you're staying in your home for a while, it doesn't matter. If you're planning on moving in 2 or 3 years, I've never thought it was a good idea to buy a house. Although, if you started and bought a house in 2020, you probably still are okay. You probably get out from underneath it. Here in St. Louis. In Florida, probably a different story. Let's move on. This is an article I don't understand. We'll make it a lot of fun. This is from Broke Agent Media. Great follow on X. I sent a joke in one time and they didn't respond back. It says NAR's new consumer guide sparked debate amongst agents. And so this is hilarious because, how do I put this? I follow them on Twitter. I follow a lot of the people where they were talking about on Twitter. We'll just go through it. It says 6 one-page guides are already available and more on the way. NAR says these resources aim to clarify critical topics for home buyers and sellers, making it easier for agents to educate their clients, but initial reactions make it clear that not all agents agree. Look, here's the thing. The lawsuit was based on a fallacy, and the fallacy is that agents were pushing deals on buyers and sellers that the buyers and sellers had no idea about. But the buyers and sellers were given this thing called a contract, okay? And in the contract, it states exactly what's going on. Buyers and sellers weren't reading it ever because they trusted their agents, which is a good thing that they trusted their agents. It's a bad thing that they didn't read the documents. Because like 4 places in those documents, you have to sign that you read the documents. Right? So it's based on a fallacy. Here's the fallacy in play. If only the seller's agents and the buyer's agents, if only they educate their buyers and sellers, then no one will get screwed and everything will be great and wonderful. The problem with that is buyers and sellers don't have time and don't care about what's in these documents. They want to buy a house and they want to sell a house. They do not care what's in the document. They do not know if you're breaking the rules. They do not care if you're breaking the rules. They just want to buy or sell a house. And that's the fallacy. That's what's causing so much problems, is because people who don't work in the business are assigning values to people that are in the business. And those values are incorrect. I know. It's shocking. It's shocking that people that write laws have no idea what the hell they're talking about. Shocking. So anyway, here's these guides. It says what's included in the guides. Each of the guides focuses on a different aspect of the real estate process, with the following 6 guides currently available. Now, if you're an agent and you just meet somebody, are you really going to give them 6 different guides when you first meet someone? Here, do this reading. It's not practical. Why am I being asked to sign a written buyer's agreement? Well, you're being asked to sign a written buyer's agreement because that's part of the NAR settlement, and we're required to get a written buyer agreement before we show any houses to you. It's part of the law now. 2, open houses and written agreements. Clarify when a written buyer's agreement is required and what buyers should know about attending open houses. You pretty much made open houses not fun anymore. But whatever. Realtors' duty to put client interests above their own. Okay, that was always true. What veterans need to know about buying a home, yeah, that goes with the VA problems. Offers of compensation covers how compensation for buyers agents works and how sellers can use this as part of their marketing strategy. Negotiating written buyer agreements provides tips for buyers and their agents on negotiating terms, services, and compensation in written agreements. What are you doing? Why are you writing this stuff? What is this about? Who are these people? Who are these people? I mean, look, you have to belong to NAR to have access to the MLS, okay? That's the only reason why people are still in NAR, the National Association of Realtors. If that changes, I mean, people are going to be like, I'm out, because they have bungled this so badly. They have bungled this so badly. And plus, they don't speak for agents like myself. I'm an independent broker. I have me. I'm the only agent here, okay? They didn't do the settlement because of me, because I wasn't doing these things. They did it for like huge brokerages, and they did it to limit their liability. But they're still getting sued. So, I mean, I just don't understand any of this. It says agent reactions. Ricky Carruth is a coach. He's a coach. I've texted him. I've tweeted to him on X, and he has nothing to do with me either. It says what's so funny is when the lawsuit happened, their report and their stance was, we don't have anything to do with commissions. We don't talk about commissions. We don't tell agents what to charge. We don't say or do anything when it comes to the commissions. Now all of a sudden they are. They're giving sellers advice on commissions, right? So now they're advising my clients on my commission. It feels like a desperate attempt to try to satisfy the plaintiffs. It's so bizarre. This person here writes, my NAR dues are not negotiable, and they're very high. For what we're getting, very high. Negotiable doesn't mean you can't have a fee you always choose to work for. It just means we can't collude with other brokerages. Thus, it's the same with a grocery store. They can have a fee but can't collude. We don't have to take less or ask for more. They can choose to go to somebody else. We can't tell someone there is a set industry fee. In fact, we should say the opposite. However, we can say this is our fee and then justify our services. Well, that's the way it's always been. That's the way it's always been. I got to check something here. I got a little bit of a floor squeak upstairs. It's not good. You can hear it. I'm gonna do my best here. I don't know how to spell squeak. I just did. Is that going to get me anywhere? No. I tried. I'm sorry if you heard the floor squeaking above me. It says NAR is busy doing their thing, and agent we must be busy doing our thing, which is talk to more people. I don't really know that matters. That didn't really help with the conversation. It says NAR is our trade association. I don't know about that. I'll be honest with you. Like, I've never seen a trade association. I did the wrong thing. I hit the wrong button. I've never heard of a trade association that doesn't put its people first and requires membership. I mean, if you look at the NAR thing, they're like, we serve people that American consumers that want to buy houses. They don't talk anything about real estate agents. It's a bizarre thing. It says, I haven't heard from, I've followed every ounce of info regarding this. I've had time to, almost like a part-time job, but doesn't it seem weird that NAR has stepped so far into our day-to-day business and how we are licensed to work within our state license and our state real estate commission hasn't said anything that I'm aware of. It is odd. Have we all forgot that we pay NAR? Have they forgot who pays them? Absolutely. They had no idea who paid them. They had no idea. I'm not opting to bail on NAR, but it's possible when open MLS is springing up with, it's very interesting. And there are lawsuits in Michigan and there's lawsuits in Alabama that says, why are we still a part of NAR when NAR doesn't care about us? Now, I'm not saying NAR doesn't care about us. It doesn't care about me at all. And that's okay, right? I'm not their biggest customer. It says NAR doesn't belong in the middle of transactions. Now they are price fixing. Makes no sense, Ricky, that NAR would position themselves against realtor compensation at this point. It's ludicrous, and I'm glad I stopped paying realtor board fees years ago. It makes absolutely no sense. It's something new every day. We don't know what to do anymore. The changes come with something new on a daily basis. Now we need to look even closer. The National Association of Realtors, in my opinion, has a severe problem. They claim to be, a trade group. Well, they claim they're not. They're a trade group for people that want to buy houses, but not real estate agents. It's a weird thing. That's a problem. They settled when they said they weren't doing anything wrong. They maintain to this day they weren't doing anything wrong. They may not have been doing anything wrong, but they settled. And then, after that case, they settled with the DOJ, who doesn't know anything about real estate. I mean, it's terrible. So NAR has a problem because, like, unless you're really into, like, the day-to-day, I have one guy on Twitter, I really like him. He's involved in NAR. He understands the whole organization. Unless you're that guy that you're spending like hours of your day interested in what NAR is doing versus actually going out and selling real estate, you look at NAR and you're like, I don't know what you've done for me. I don't know what you've done for me. Where's the value proposition here? You say, well, we pay for lobbying. Well, what did the lobbying get you versus other lobbies? We pay more than big law up there and still got hammered. Congress could pass a law tomorrow to fix all these issues. Okay. Where is all this money going? And who's running this thing? Now we've had a new CEO. We have a different president because the other one was blackmailed. Doesn't seem very ethical. I mean, some of this stuff is getting old. Like, you're going to force me to take ethics classes, but the president has to resign because they're being blackmailed. I don't know. Someone from NAR can certainly come in on my show. We can talk about it. Better be ready. Just saying. This article here isn't an article. I have grown up. I was born in St. Louis, Missouri in 1977. I left St. Louis, Missouri in, 1996. No. 2001. Yeah, 2001. 2002. And I moved to Detroit, Michigan for something like 8 years. Big mistake. However, I moved back. And I feel like I know Missouri pretty well. I feel like I understand the dynamics between St. Louis and Kansas City. I feel like I understand why people think we're flyover country. I don't understand some things. Like, Claire McCaskill was our senator, and people think that we're like really, really like a red state. How does that, I don't know how that really, anyway, at least I think she was, or I got things screwed up and she was in Michigan, but whatever. Anyway, cities with the fastest growing home prices in Missouri. Now, this is the worst article I've ever read. And it's not really an article, it's like an infographic. I thought we should go over it with you. So I would like to know, like, so St. Louis County has 98 different municipalities. I believe St. Louis City has like 80 different neighborhoods, 80 to 85 different neighborhoods. Okay. That's just in the city and the county. Doesn't count Jefferson County. Doesn't count St. Charles County. Doesn't count Warren County, which is Troy. And that's just in St. Louis. Then you go over to Kansas City and there's all kinds of stuff over there. There's St. Joe is huge. So, but you would think, like, I am a product of Missouri. I went to college in southwestern Missouri. I had friends in Kansas City. I feel like I'm knowledgeable about Missouri. So when I started reading this, I got confused. It says the cities with the fastest growing home prices in Missouri, the real estate frenzy spurred by the coronavirus. Oh, now they're going to derank my video. The 7 people watching are now going to be, they're going to be on the list. Buyers are still competing for a limited supply of housing. The typical home value in the United States was $362,143 in August. So Stacker compiled a list of cities with the fastest growing home prices in Missouri using data from Zillow. Well, there's your first clue that something's going to be terrible. Cities are ranked by the dollar change in the Zillow Home Values Index for all homes from the 12 months ending August 2024. The charts in the story were created automatically. Data was available for 50 towns in Missouri. So there's a lot of cities and towns in Missouri, more than 50. I'm going to just check real quick to see if I got nothing. I got nothing over there. What about here? I got nothing. I got no chat. We're not chatting tonight. I don't know what I did to deserve that. I got to get to the right thing. Bam. Sorry, I hit the wrong button again. So, okay, I was like, all right, let's check these cities out. Well, home values in Fillmore, Missouri. No offense to you, I have no idea where Fillmore is. Had to look it up on a map. Fillmore is like an hour and a half north of Kansas City. It's north of, and it's on the Kansas-Missouri border. Here's the border, I think. Yeah, I don't, no offense to Fillmore. Fillmore is a city in Andrew County, Missouri, United States. The population was 173 at the 2020 census. You really went with Fillmore as one with the highest home value. Well, maybe that's a mistake, I said. Maybe that's a mistake. So the next one is Rayville. Well, I've never heard of Rayville. It says right here, metro area, Kansas City, Missouri, Kansas. I looked over here. It's over here by Independence. I don't know where Independence is. Oh, that's where Independence. It's in the middle of nowhere. Rayville is a census designated place and former village in Ray County, Missouri, as part of the Kansas City metropolitan area within the United States. Population was 157. Now, look, I don't want people from Rayville or Fillmore thinking that I think less of them because they live in a small town. No. All I'm saying is this, if you're going to give me like an article, cities with the fastest growing home prices in Missouri, it better be towns that like I'm familiar with, that have like a lot of population, so that I can say, oh, like we should be saying things like, oh, Clayton is growing at a ridiculous rate. Raytown, not Rayville, Raytown is growing. So anyway, all right, Rayville. All right, what's the next one? St. Thomas. I said, we have a St. Thomas in Missouri? Well, let's look at that. Where's that? St. Thomas there's Eldon. This is the Lake of the Ozarks, I believe. This is south of Jefferson City. St. Thomas is a city in Cole County, Missouri. The population was 222 in the 2020 census. Well, I mean, it's not a big city. What are we doing here? All right. So I was like, whatever. And I went Hunwell, and I was like, I'm getting tired of this. Wheeling, Rosebud. I know where Rosebud is. I've been there, been through there. Lake Tapawingo, DeKalb. There's a DeKalb, Missouri. I didn't even know. Maywood, Max Creek, Warson Woods. Thank you. Warson Woods. Totally get that. That's in St. Louis. So anyway, here's Leonard. You know where Leonard is? This was more like, hey, can you figure out where this is? Leonard is a village in northwestern Shelby County. The population was 57. And it's on the map somewhere here, and I have no idea where. And I'm sorry. I lost it. Maybe if I do this. Oh, here it is. It's right here. Right here. It's off of 151. I mean, it is in the middle of nowhere. I'm trying to, it's northeast. I mean, it's up kind of by the lake. It's in the middle of nowhere. No offense to people from Leonard. I'm sure you're fine people. But again, when you write this story about cities with the fastest growing home values, and it's a village with a population of 57, I just feel like they're doing it wrong. Silex. Silex is a fourth-class city in Lincoln County, Missouri. Population was 280 at the 2010 census. Silex is north of Troy. So what does that tell you? What does this say? Well, you know what it tells me? Like, this isn't reliable. This isn't reliable. It may be true, but it's not something that I'm interested in. There's Silex, Eldridge, Montrose, Knox City. Funny story about Montrose. Sammy Hagar was in that band. Plain Jane, that was a song. There's another one too. Don't remember it. Anyway, so this is like Turney, Missouri, Russellville, Taylor, Missouri, Dunnigan, Missouri, Cairo. If it's the Cairo I'm thinking, that might be in Illinois. 250,000. Kingdom City, Kidder, Philadelphia, Missouri, Dawn, Missouri. I mean, and then homes in Clayton. Like, how do these two places compare? Walker and Clayton, Cowgill, Bethel, Shelbyville, Purdon, Moundville, Town and Country. Town and Country, but not Chesterfield. New Boston, Frontenac, Westwood, Ladue. Now, see, now we're getting somewhere. Top 4, okay, Huntley. But Huntley is probably one of the most exclusive places in Missouri. I mean, the typical home value was like $2,166,000 before. What is my point? My point is, this is a horrible article. Not helpful in any way. And it's like, why did you even do this? Why? Let me check the chat. I really want to be more responsive in my chats. And you say, why do you want to be more responsible? Because. It's important. You got to know your audience, right? Okay. I thought this was interesting. Investor horror story in Florida. This is Nick Gerli. People don't like him. He does reventure. They say he's a doomer. You're a doomer. You're always predicting bad things. But maybe those bad things are true. A lot of it, I think, like, I don't know if the guy has like credentials. I've noticed that a lot. People that don't have credentials and when they put out like information, people with credentials get very insecure. They're like, you know, how dare you wade into our academic pool? That's not helpful. Right now, like when I'm doing a live stream, be good if that closed. Thanks. Weird that it showed up there. Anyway, that was my assistant. Anyway, what is my point? My point is, whether or not he's a doomer or not, he's putting forth this thing. And we would be good to, you know, see what he's saying and then make our own decision on whether we can anoint him as a housing expert or not. I mean, the housing experts have gotten things wrong. So, investor horror story in Florida bought this house. He didn't, but bought this house in 2023 for $325,000. They thought they could rent out for $3,800 a month. Have since cut the rent to $2,500 a month, still sitting vacant. If they do rent it, they will be losing $8,300 annually after paying off their mortgage. Good warning of what can happen to real estate investors who buy in the wrong market at the wrong time. Absolutely. Absolutely. Now, dare we get into the fact that the PPE money seemed to flow to Florida like nowhere else? It'd be interesting to know who owns this home. Like deep within my soul, there's this thing that says, John, just because you can charge ridiculous amounts of money for rent, just because you can exploit people that make less money than you, should you? This is probably why I'm in the situation I'm in right now, because my answer's always been no. Like, I don't like excess. Excess makes me upset. What do you mean excess? Like, a brand new car is excess to me. It makes me, I don't want to be showy. The big house, I don't want to have the big house. And you say, well, you sure you do if they gave it to you. No, I've been in big houses and they're lonely. If there's like only two people in the house and you can't see your wife for like 3 days because they're in a different part of the house, that's not where I want to live. I mean, I'm sorry. And it expands to things like money. So like, hey, look at me. I can go buy a house in Florida, vacation home, rent it out, 50 weeks out of the year and live in it for 2. And look at me. I'm so smart. It's part of the reason why I think the general public is having trouble with the Florida condo situation. I would say 1 million people from St. Louis alone go to either Myrtle Beach, Clearwater, Florida, or Destin. Okay? Like every summer. All right. And they've been doing it for as long as I've been alive. Much longer, actually. And, with these new condo rules where you have to find, where you have to be able to fund possible repairs, I mean, it's a real problem in Florida right now. The insurance situation is bad. Do I feel sorry for the people? No, I'm not involved. It's like, it's somebody else's mess. You guys thought it was a good idea to buy a condo down there. Now you have to deal with it. Like, life isn't perfect. In this case, it's gross. We're going to go worth $3,800 a month for like this small shack. That's all I had about that. This year, again, it's not at the bottom. It's at the bottom. It's not at the top where it should be. Real estate fees settlement created a new competitive ballgame. Expert says, here's what buyers, sellers need to know. Well, I'm in real estate. I thought I should brush up on this. And then I read it and it's like, wow, this is garbage. As a result of a recent class action settlement, home sellers are no longer obligated to offer commission for both the buyer and seller agents. You weren't always required to, or it could be as limited as $1. So that's stupid. Not true. Some agents are talking to home sellers about the benefits of offering commissions to buyers' agents. Well, what did you think was going to happen? Home buyers may need to take time to understand the agreement forms with potential agents. When has that ever not been the case? So far, we're kind of just starting off on the wrong foot here. Right? The whole article, it's just like, come on. Prior to the settlement, the National Association of Realtors Multiple Listing Service, or MLS, used a local level across area in the United States, facilitated the compensation rates for both the buyers and sellers agents. At the time of listing a property, the home seller negotiated with the listing agent what the compensation would be for a buyer's agent, which appeared on the MLS, which isn't exactly true. However, if a seller was unaware they could negotiate, they were typically locked into paying the listed brokerage fee. If a seller was unaware they could negotiate, they were typically locked into paying the listed brokerage fee. Did they not read the listing agreement? And what are you negotiating? And it says, this to me is not true because I was required to have, at least my brokerage, I was required to have a buyer's agency agreement. And so if the selling agent wasn't paying, I got mine from the buyer's agent back then. mean, it didn't mean it said. So here we go. Now the buyer chooses how much the buyer's agent makes. The sellers choose how much the seller's agent makes. Glenn Kelman, CEO of online real estate brokerage firm Redfin, discount broker. It's a new competitive ballgame. Interesting. The one thing I'll say about Redfin's Glenn Kelman, they run to that dude for a quote all the time, and he gives it to them. You never see any other executive in the real estate space get quoted as much as Glenn Kelman. Why is that? The guy knows how to market. I don't like their company. I don't like anything about him. But that guy knows how to market. He knows how to get his face on the television. And I have to respect that. It says, any confusion around the new practices amongst agents and consumers will likely be temporary, says Carrie Melker, head of real estate at Opendoor. Opendoor, a bizarre iBuyer company. They buy houses, fix and flip them, and then turn them. They own their own houses, so they can pretty much do whatever they want to with the commission structure. Not really a brokerage. So odd for the quotes. And I don't think the confusion is going to be temporary. There's some real stupid things going on. It says, what's happening with buyer and listing agents? Potential home buyers might come across inconsistencies in the market as real estate agents grow accustomed to the new rules. Before August 17th, this is bizarre. I don't even understand it. If you called 5 buyer agents for the same inquiry related to buying a home, 4 out of 5 times you would get the same answer, said real estate attorney Claudia Cabrero, founder of Cabrero Law in Coral Gables, Florida. Now maybe 2 out of 5 times you're going to get the same answer. What does that mean? It says that's because real estate agents are receiving different instructions from the brokerage firm on how to implement the NAR settlements changes, and it's translating into confusion amongst consumers. No, it's not. Not at all. This was a faulty premise that this shit was signed. Okay? Absolutely faulty. And so it's not confusion amongst consumers. It's confusion among the entire industry because the people that wrote the new rules are clueless as to how real estate deal is structured. They have no idea. And you say, well, John, where is your evidence? I have evidence that you can see articles where they're asking a real estate agent who happens to practice law at like George Washington University for her buyer and seller agency contracts so that they can read them and understand what the heck they did. They have no idea. They just made these random rules. They took every single stereotype, every single thing they could possibly think of, threw it in the agreement and said, here you go. Didn't take a minute to figure out like how stupid they were setting things up. So everyone's confused, but it's because of the agreement. Because the agreement is faulty, it's based on false premises. What to know about buyer-broker agreements? Well, let's see. Meanwhile, let's see. It says, meanwhile, on the listing side, real estate agents are educating home sellers on the benefits of offering commission to the buyer's agent, even if it's not a set amount or percentage. For instance, offering a commission can create more competition for agents wanting to show their property, which increases the sales price, which some people say isn't true. And if it is, it's steering. So they say it's bad if it is true. So you really can't win on either way. Explaining those benefits of still offering commission despite the fact that commission is not mandatory is part of the job that I'm now seeing the listing agents do. Are you really? How many times have you sat with people that are listing their property? I'm just curious. It says the purpose of this form, it says, if the client buys a property that meets the criteria in the agreement within the specified time frame, an agent is entitled to the commission for that purchase. The purchase of this form is telling the buyers that they are responsible for their own commission on the buyer side, which was always the case, at least in Missouri, at least with good agent practices. If the seller does not offer commission, the buyer broker will be responsible for whatever commission was listed on the buyer broker agreement. Absolutely. Buyers must get comfortable with what buyer broker agreement forms look like. You know what? It's a form and it's like drawn in crayon and there's some animals on it, and you know, you get a cookie if you complete it in time. And be prepared to ask questions about the language and terms. Well, that's going to be difficult for one really weird reason. I'm not an attorney. I can't legally interpret legal documents. I'm a real estate agent. It makes no sense. The forms are designed to be read by buyers and for buyers to understand them. What forms are we making now so that people can't understand them? It's just dumb. the whole thing is dumb. Like someone should just look, if I ran the world, well, if I just ran the United States, it would be kind of dark. Okay. It would be kind of dark because I can't put up with this silliness. Okay. So if you, in my world, if you wrote a document, okay, if there was a set agreement of documents and somebody read the documents and didn't understand them, that's one thing. But if you read them, understood them, and then did a deal and didn't like the way it turned out, and you complained about it, you'd be gone. I mean, that's how quick it would happen. I don't have time for this silliness in my kingdom. And that's what it would be. It'd be a kingdom. There'd be no question who was in charge. The rules would be pretty straightforward. I think most people would figure them out. Not benevolent dictator. I mean, it's a kingdom. And, some people are like, well, you're trying to build a false utopia. No. I don't even think that's what I'm trying to build. No, I mean, there'd be bad aspects to my kingdom. That being said, this wouldn't be a problem. That's it. Next one. I wanted to talk about this more for just not as a complaint, but confusion. Katie Johnson set to resign as NAR's chief legal officer. Johnson's tenure as NAR chief legal officer and chief membership experience officer will end on October 1st. Now, let me just ask you, what in the hell is a chief membership experience officer? And why is the attorney the chief legal officer dealing with the chief membership experience? What is that about? That doesn't make any sense. It says Katie Johnson is stepping down from her role as chief legal officer for the National Association of Realtors. CEO Nakia Wright informed NAR members of the news in an email sent Tuesday and obtained by Housing Wire. I'm in NAR. I was not sent an email to tell me the news. I have no idea what's going on. I've not been informed. Maybe it got lost in my spam folder. I don't know, but it's just like, didn't get it. It says Johnson, who spent 17 years at the trade association, has also been serving as NAR's chief membership experience officer. Her last day will be October 4th. I'm curious, are they going to have like cake and cookies and maybe a pizza party? Some flyers, streamers? In her nearly 2 decades at the association, Katie had been steadfast in her commitment to fulfilling NAR's mission to expand access to home ownership to all Americans. Do you see what that is? That is not, we're going to protect real estate agents. That's the problem. NAR's mission to expand access to home ownership to all Americans does not fall in line with, we're here to help real estate agents be protected, as a trade organization. Who's paying the dues, by the way? The home ownership for all Americans people aren't paying the dues. Real estate agents are required to do so. So they should really clean that up. I mean, what are we doing? Are we not protecting real estate agents? Are we not looking after their interests? Then why am I paying for it? I mean, that's like bottom line stuff. That's stuff that could be fixed tomorrow. And then if you are lying, right? If this is all being done for legalese, like we can't really have a trade association for real estate agents and all that stuff, then stop with the pretense. Just say, look, it's not legal. I can't believe we've been doing this for over 100 years and we're not going to do it anymore. But this is untenable. This particular thing is untenable. According to Wright's email, members can direct their legal questions and concerns to NAR General Counsel Leslie Muchow and their member experience concerns to Kate Moore. What is that going to do me? The trade group says its immediate focus is to develop a comprehensive strategy for its approach to all existing litigation and begin an assessment of any additional risk the association has based on current policies and rules. About time, right? About time. Finally. How many years too late? 17? In the email, NAR said it will be hiring additional outside counsel this week who will have sole focus of risk assessment. Where are we going to come up with that money? Oh, dues, that's right. For a trade association that doesn't protect the realtors, but expands access to home ownership to all Americans. NAR spokesman wrote an email that the trade group is grateful for Johnson's service. Well, I mean, what are you going to do? Kick her on the way out the door? I mean, it's not good. good politics. As we make this transition, our priority is insurance business continuity, and remaining laser focused in shepherding NAR through this time of significant industry change. Well, why has it changed? What did you guys do that would cause it to change? It's frustrating. It's frustrating. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. You tell me what you think. I'm going to get ready to head on out. I haven't talked to Austin yet. I'm thinking we're going to stream on Friday at 1 Central. So there's that. And then I'd really like to know what you think of the new videos I've been doing. I've been doing much less formal short videos. YouTube hates me. I mean, that's just obvious. But it's something I've been doing. And if you did like it, put it in a comment or something like that. And I will make adjustments. My goal is twofold. I like talking about real estate. I like interacting with others in the real estate industry. And I like finding like where we agree on things and where we disagree. And I also like talking about like my philosophy towards being a good real estate agent, being a good real estate agent for my clients, how I can be a better real estate agent. So there's that one part. And then there's the actual business itself. This is where I want to be. I want to be able to talk about my business, and then I want to be able to do my business. And I want you to be able to come along with me. And so as much as I can, I'm trying to invest in more content. It may look rough now, but it should get better over time. I believe that. It's just not going to be tomorrow. But with that, I mean, there's been so many people on the stream. I'm almost up against my limits. I mean, I've seen maybe one person pop in every, half hour. So that's good. But I had a good time tonight, and I think that's the important thing. With that, I'm going to head on out. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening, and I will catch you on the next one. Bye.